ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, it is time for everybody's favorite segment. And I'm going to need flutes in the chat and in the comment section because it is time for Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week.
This just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
We start with star ratings. You know, I think that's the way to go about this every week. And so the star ratings he gave out, quite a few here, and particularly Blood and Guts was, quite shocking. So he gave the women's Blood and Guts match 4.5 stars, greater than The Rock and Hogan at Mania 18. Is this match, according to Dave?
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Flair, Steamboat, everybody goes to that. Macho Man, the Kurt Angles, the Ric Flairs, and they can all kiss my ass. That's pretty much what happened here. A 4.5 to the women. Hangman Adam Page and Powerhouse Hobbs, Falls Count Anywhere, 4.5. So the same level as that women's Blood and Guts somehow. And then he gave the men's Blood and Guts, that trash, that shell of the other Blood and Guts matches we've seen, 5 stars. 5 stars. Dave just can't help himself, dude.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
He just can't help sniffing his own balls and licking Tony's cheeks. So we move along here, and there's some other star ratings, and here's some stats on Dave's star ratings. So the Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer rated the 2025 men's Blood and Guts match a full 5 stars. Even though, is it a full 5 stars when there's been 7 and 5.5 and 6.5? Lex, make some sense.
I don't know.
Me neither, bud. So this is the 10th. Listen to how this is. And we can prove this because we watch Dave. We study and learn Dave here on Dave Meltzer, Dumb Moment of the Week, okay? We study and learn Dave.
Learn, baby, learn. Meltzer Inferno.
Which is kind of gay when you just say it like that, but whatever. I don't judge. Hey, I ain't judging, no. But this is the 10th 5-star match for Moxley. What? 5th 5-star match for Claudio. What? 5th 5-star for Pac. What? 4th 5-star for Mark Briscoe. 3rd 5-star match for Darby. 3rd for Yuta. A 3rd for Yuta. Yuta's had 5-star matches, according to Dave. The 2nd for Kyle O'Reilly. The 2nd for Garcia. And the 1st ever for Orange Cassidy. This is how you know. And like, again, Sting wasn't Hall of Fame worthy. We're going to talk about the Hall of Fame tonight and get Dave's reactions to, and just take a look at who the Observer is, who are in, I believe, or they're shoe-ins or whatever, just his write-ups and whatnot. But, Sting wasn't Hall of Fame worthy, according to Dave, until he goes to AEW. Then he's having 5-star matches and he's a shoe-in for a Hall of Fame and all this. It's crazy. It's absurd, man. 10th Moxley 5-star match. Can you name one Moxley match that you would go, yeah, that's one of the greatest of all time? 5's supposed to mean the greatest of all time. But to Dave, it's just like nothingness. It's just this thing he does that used to be cool. And again, people go, why do you care? Why do you care about his ratings? This is why. Because yes, they're his subjective ratings. That's the truth. However, he claims they're objective and they're not just his opinion, and he condescends people. If you go and say to him, oh, well, that's just your opinion, he will condescend you and go, no, I rate matches that I don't like higher than I would have, just because it was a good match. And it's like, no, you're lying. You're a liar. So it's all good. Let him do his thing, but it's just obnoxious and absurd. I think we have some more star ratings as well. So on the Collision show that nobody watched, Moxley versus Roddy Strong. So this was taped on the same night as or was this? Oh no, this was on the Saturday. Yeah, because Collision was 3 hours this week. Pardon me, Dynamite was 3 hours if you count the Collision hour this week again. But the week before they went back to their regular time slot, tied their second lowest, I think, rating in history, or third lowest, and then they did their lowest key demo in history. Just pointing that out. But so on this week, this was last week, Time Cop. This was on Saturday. But Moxley, no selling the blood and guts, had a match with Roddy Strong, 4.25 stars. And this is what Dave says too. Oh, well, I mean, Kurt Angle didn't get many, Kurt Angle, Hechicero. He didn't get many 5 stars, but Brian, Phil Marks, except Brian. Sorry, sometimes I just get lost doing it. He says, look at the 4 stars for Kurt Angle. Look at the 4 stars for fucking Mox and these guys, bro. That's the point I'm getting at, okay? Before I start spurging out on these impression tangents. So, and then the Bang Bang Gang versus FTR, 3.75 stars, whatever. But like, he's just handing stars out like Halloween candy. Second helpings at Thanksgiving. I don't know, guys. Hit the like button. So, yeah, that was Dave's wacky star ratings there. And so let's talk about the Hall of Fame. Who's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame / who's going to be voted Wrestler of the Year, etc. If he hasn't already done that, I actually don't know when he votes on that. I know people do the end of the year awards like right before. I like to do it for my Christmas show, so it's like, okay, there's a few days left in the month. I like it to be near the end of the month as much as possible. However, like Ariel Helwani, he'll do like the first week into January. He'll do his awards for MMA and stuff. I wonder if he's going to start doing pro wrestling awards. Both Junkyard Dog and Hayabusa were only 4 votes shy of being inducted into the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame this year. So I don't know about Hayabusa. I mean, I think his career was short and sweet, right? Junkyard Dog, how the fuck is he not in your Hall of Fame? That's what I mean. Like, who's voting on this and they're just skipping over the Junkyard Dog? This is the problem.
Are you sure about that?
Meltzer claims to be this like wrestling historian, and he is, but you think he would stand up for some of the historical aspects more than just like the uber mark deep cut shit. Put your foot down, take control of your fucking newsletter, tell these stinky marks no. Okay, this is who we're putting in. That's what I do. So people that received less than 10% of all votes from a region and dropped from next year's Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame ballot, FTR. It's like, bro, I don't think they should be in there yet, into any Hall of Fame yet. Drew McIntyre shouldn't be going into any Hall of Fame yet. Dusty Rhodes and Dick Murdoch. How the fuck are they not in your Hall of Fame yet?
Oh my
what
God,
the fuck?
it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
This is insane. Los Infernales, El Satanico, and Parada Morgan and MS1. Les Collette. Hey guys, who the fuck is Les Collette? Bill Mercer. Like, and I'm sorry if that's something I should know, but I don't know everyone who ran every territory or every obscure Los Infernales, every obscure Mexican promotion, tag team. Maybe they're not obscure. Maybe they're huge over there. I'm just saying, like, I don't fucking know. I don't know or claim to know the history as good. Like, you want history on the territories and shit, you go listen to Jim Cornette. You want to hear Dave Meltzer get made fun of, you listen to PWT. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that Dusty Rhodes and Dick Murdoch aren't in there, it's like, whoa, what's going on? Like, what does this mean? Why is it like the regional awards? How does he break down his awards? I don't even know. The last time I heard anything about Dave Meltzer's awards, I was listening to Jim Cornette, by the way, and it was him talking about them for like an hour on his show in like a clip form or whatever.
Thank you, fuck you, bye, boom.
That's probably how I'll consume all of that shit myself. So Dave Meltzer on CM Punk's Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame induction. So I guess they inducted. So this is the Hall of Fame before the awards. Okay, but it's award season. It's heating up. And so CM Punk got inducted into the Observer Hall of Fame. And he says, Dave Meltzer writes, Punk, real name Phil Brooks, 47, already fared better than most Hall of Famers in key categories. And, except Hechicero was better and proved to be an even bigger business mover in recent years in his comeback with AEW and WWE. The end of his AEW stint probably kept people for voting for him. Is this a direct quote? The end of his AEW stint probably kept people for voting for him. Probably kept people for voting for him. Dude, I'm dyslexic, and that is dumb as shit right there. Is this a copy and is this Wrestle Purist, guys? This Elbu chicken peck typing this shit out? But with the success as one of the top stars of a boom period in WWE, there was just too much to deny. Brian. No punctuation, fucking no editing. That's the internet for you. But with his success as one of the top stars of a boom period in WWE, there was just too much to deny. So it's like making excuses. Well, he had success in a boom period of WWE, so you just can't deny him, even though we want to deny him, Brian. But, AEW really upset everyone, so you really shouldn't be in here, but you can't deny it. So Dave Meltzer talks about Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes, and him being inducted into the Observer Hall of Fame. And, of course, he's going to make it about AEW. He goes, Rhodes, born Cody Runnels, 40, has generally, except actually been WWE's top star during this boom. The house show business before it was dropped by TKO strengthened. Why would this be? This is a problem. Even, let's say you're a deep cut sicko like myself, or a wacko like myself, or like you guys out there, right? Listening to the show. We all love pro wrestling. It's why we watch and listen to pro wrestling shows and talk about. Why would you include the house show business before it was dropped by TKO strengthened greatly with him as the top touring attraction, setting more than 40 gate records in 2024? Okay, I guess you're trying to. I just don't know why you'd include like before it was dropped by TKO. Like, I just feel like it's wording it to make things seem like. It's when Dave went on the fucking news and he just, or like, I think Alvarez did this too, and they just start talking about like, well, and they talk about the 93,000 and that wasn't real. And the news lady's like, I just want to mark out about Hulk Hogan, bro. Like, we're honoring him right now. He passed away. We don't care about, but Dave had to bring up, well, I mean, they worked the numbers a bit on that, but, and it's like he always has to do this. He always has to just put in these little extras, just pepper in little extras that try to diminish or distract. Like, it just, none of this matters, bro. Just put over Cody Rhodes. You guys voted him in your thing. You're like making excuses along the way. This not as egregious as the Punk one, I feel, but still, he just peppers this little shit in. Setting more than 40 gate records. Just say that. He set 40 house show records before they were dropped in 2024. Boom. I just saved you a bunch of words and time too. Yeah, like you just say it, bro. Anyways, I'm nitpicking here. His chasing Roman Reigns was one of the biggest title chases in U.S. history, including 3 record-setting WrestleMania gates. See, there you go, dude. Rhodes' key credentials was being one of the key people. Rhodes' key credentials was being one of the key people. When Dave goes, I'd be a top journalist. I'm telling you, the first thing in any writing class, they tell you don't reuse words like that. And especially when you're describing things like the wind was very windy, Brian. You don't say, I don't know, dude. It's just real bad. It's like, is he just talking into voice chat and it's typing it out for him? Stresses me out. One of the key people in helping start AEW and his last few years in WWE when he drew many of the biggest houses in pro wrestling history during the boom period when he and Roman Reigns were the biggest And here's the thing, they keep just saying during the boom period when he and Roman were the biggest. It's never because of them there was a boom period. He won't say that. He goes, well, WWE's in a boom and they were just the two guys. Rhodes and Roman were just the two guys who were there that they chose to put during the boom period. So WWE was just in a boom, though. It's not because of them. They could have plugged anyone in there. Rhodes' return to WWE had no impact. If he stayed in AEW, all would have been the same. That's what Dave tries to convince people of without actually saying it. You can tell that's the intention. That's the intent behind the jargon, the fucking word salad. It's not, just the word salad he throws out. But he should be saying, like, yo, Rhodes his feud with Roman helped maintain this boom period, helped usher in, of course, Roman ushered in the boom period, and like they're responsible for this boom period in WWE. He can't just say that. It's like, well, they were on top at the time, so they were the biggest full-time stars, and then Reigns stopped working full-time. Would he say that about Edge? Let's say he was talking about Edge and Moxley here. Would he be going, and Edge, one of the, like, Moxley, the top full-time star? No, it's because he's trying to, like, paint this fucking, like, they don't wrestle full-time, and it's just so happens to be a boom, Brian. It's not because of them. Like, that's the underlying shit that he puts down, and it's gross. And Dave says he headlined the final day of the 3 largest grossing WrestleMania shows ever and 4 of the top 5. Not he drew. I mean, I guess that's okay. He headlined the final day, but like you add all this extra up here, you could say he ushered in 3 of the largest grossing WrestleManias. He helped, gross 3 of the largest ever WrestleManias and 4 of the top 5. No, not putting him over. It's like, well, this stuff happened and he was just there for the ride. And so you got to put him in, I guess. So moving along, speaking of gross, I don't know why I said that. I love Sabu, but this is a gross picture, right? I guess he's all bloody and like this is long past when he should have been wrestling. And I think this was, people accused GCW of like having a hand in his death. I think that's fucked up. He's a grown man and taking kratom. I know some people were like, oh, kratom is like heroin and shit. It's not, man. It's not. Not that I've taken it. I don't know. But, it's a lot of people use it and like addicts use it to get off shit. And it can be addictive itself, but he shouldn't have been wrestling at that time, period. And I think it was not very professional of them to like put him in the ring when he was hurting and they knew that he was, I really don't think they should have did that at all. But is it responsible for no. If he died in the ring, okay, that would be one thing. But I don't mean to bring it to there, but in honor of Sabu, okay, let's not think about the bad, let's think about the good. In honor of Sabu, he's been voted into the 2025 Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame. And RIP to the legend. I love Sabu. Huge fucking Sabu mark over here. So Dave Meltzer, he argued with some folks. He's arguing with Niccolo Piccolo. He's arguing with Glenn Gilberti and random sickos. So Wrestle Purists, right? And we're starting to see Elbu and Wrestle Purists and Self-Made and these guys like glazing Dave and Meltzer glazing them back because like Elbu's a little mini, I want to be Meltzer one day. And so Wrestle Purists posted this, Kyle Fletcher said he responded to Stevie Richards. So this made headlines throughout the week. Stevie Richards said that Logan Paul's better than the entire AEW roster. Yeah, if he walked in there, he'd run shit. He'd be your biggest star. He'd cut your best promo. And he could go with any of these guys. And he'd probably box the shit out of a bunch of the guys too, if you want to take it to that level. Not all the guys, but I'm sure, there's a fucking big handful of these guys he'd probably punch the shit out of if it came down to a shoot too. But we're talking pro wrestling. And I said on PWT live show every Wednesday and Saturday night, I said, the discourse around this is Logan Paul couldn't do like a G1 the way Ospreay could go in there and just work like 5 different guys and have 5-star matches with 5 different styles. I bet if you challenged him, he could. I bet if he put his mind to it, he fucking could. This kid seems to accomplish everything he fucking puts his mind to. And I know it's tough for these wrestlers to admit this, especially active ones. And obviously Fletcher's going to defend himself and take it, not even personally, but just defend his roster and shit. I'm not burying Fletcher here. But just all the wrestlers in general. I get why they're offended by him just walking in and making it look easy, but this is his calling in life, Logan Paul. If there's ever been a calling in life for him, it's not the YouTube shit, it's not the rapping or the pop singing, it's not the boxing, it's none of that bullshit. It's pro wrestling, 100%. Fletcher just said, I think the same thing with his comments on me. I think a lot of these things are done with the thought process, oh, this will get a reaction, oh, this will get clicks. I don't know if he believes that wholeheartedly. If he does, like I said, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I hate this whole like, oh, it's just trying to get clicks. Yep, that's what everyone's doing, guys. Welcome to 2025. That's what everyone's doing. That's why you went on TMZ to get some clicks, because they're going to get some clicks talking to you, and you're going to get clicks on AEW, and you want people to click on the fucking HBO Max to watch AEW on HBO Max. You want clicks. Everybody wants a click. Shut the fuck up. We're all trying to get clicks. Stop fucking, it's just to get clicks, you know. The fuck are you doing this interview for? Why are you on TV? It's all for clicks, dude. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I snapped there. The remote control, the clicker. It's been clicks since day motherfucking one. That's what this whole thing is. I don't know if people are just waking up. Earth to Fletcher. Hello. Like, welcome to fucking 2025. Holy shit. You do it for clicks. Yep. So fucking everybody's doing. Sorry. Anyway, I'm snapping over here. So we're having fun. Hit the like button. This is a good show. We're all happy here, I promise. So he says that, and I do like Fletcher, but he goes, I think that opinion is bullshit personally. And there you go. He's just stating his opinion, because that's a good debate. I mean, even me, I'm like, does he clear the whole roster? Like, Fletcher could teach Logan Paul some things. Logan Paul could teach Kenny Omega could teach Logan Paul some things. I'm sure just because they put reps in all over the world and shit, and you can learn something from everybody. But to insinuate that Logan Paul couldn't go like have one of those AEW style matches, okay, like he could walk in there and have a match with anybody, and you could call it the day before. You think he's there practicing with Roman Reigns every day before their match? You think he's there practicing the triple threat match with Drew and Orton? They did a bunch of practices before. He's not there week to week. You think he practices all these guys he's wrestled? Or does he just walk in there and make it look pretty fucking easy? And so that's the thing, man. I think Logan Paul's the wrong one to be like, oh, he couldn't just walk in and have matches with like Tsuji and fucking who's over there right now, Tanahashi, and he couldn't go and have a match with Zack Sabre Jr. I bet he could. I bet if he put his fucking mind to it, he could. I bet if you gave him as much prep as you give any of these guys for the G1 or whatever the fuck you guys are coping over, I bet he'd do fine in the Continental Classic. I bet he could have matches with Bobby Lashley and fucking Samoa Joe, guys who know how to work WWE style. I bet he could. So anyways, I've harped on that long enough, but Fletcher's like, no hate on and I like Fletcher, by the way. I know it seems like I'm going at him because it's not like directed at him, no hate on Logan Paul, doing great stuff. Good for you. He's been in the business 5 years, if that. So the level he's performing at is insane. See, Fletcher's level-headed, man. He gets it. I think Fletcher will be a star in WWE one day. I believe that. Dave Meltzer says, but when you have that logic flaw, it's best for all concerned to ignore it. No, it's not a logic flaw, Dave. It's not illogical to say that Logan Paul clears. If you stacked up anybody in AEW right now, you could argue he's better than them in ring and for sure on the stick. There's no one in AEW on the stick. MJF, I take offense to that. Nope. You just call people fat, gay, and say they have little dicks and do all this like immature, you know what I mean? Like you just do like the low hanging cringe shit, sixth grader, and then you like say a swear and everyone's like, oh, he just went off, he snapped. Like, no, that shit's played out, dude. It's getting cringe. It got cringe with Tony Storm too. It's cringy. So no, MJF, I think in a promo battle, he would hold his own. For the praise people give MJF, to think that Logan Paul can't get that same praise. What are we doing here? Yes or no, could MJF go main roster? Here's the one thing, though, people would always say to me. They're like, oh, come on now, Phil. That's not very fair. MJF's so tiny. Chat me up about him being really little. And I didn't realize, man, he's kind of small, but I think he could hang in the main roster in WWE. I think he could. he got to change his promos up a bit and not about censoring himself. Just you got to come with some more original shit. And maybe MJF knows that, and that's why he's he's just doing the immature, like he's kind of on repeat mode because he's just in AEW for now. And maybe he knows that, like, yeah, I'm not going to go deep in my bag until I get to WWE, you know? But it's starting to feel repetitive. So Logan Paul, man, he can go out there and have promo battles with some of the best in the world already. You know, Kenny Omega, yeah, is he awesome in the ring? Can he wrestle Ibushi on the drop of a dime? Fuck yeah. Could he teach Logan Paul some shit in ring? Hell yeah. And some people might scoff at that, but he could. He's got the reps in. He's wrestled enough like veterans and legends in the game. Could Kenny Omega hold is he nearly as interesting, or does he grab your attention, or does he cut promos as good as Logan Paul? Fuck no. But could Logan Paul go out there and have a match with Omega? 5 stars, Dave Meltzer clapping like a seal. Yep. Fucking tell him when. Wednesday? He could do it. I promise you, dude. I promise you he could. Anyways, Glenn Gilbert, and like, here's the thing, I'm glazing Logan Paul. I make fun of him. Dude, I've made fun of him so much, right? But in this instance, it's like, yeah, I mean, that's not that crazy. It's not a lack of logic. Dave is the one being illogical. Anyways, Glenn Gilberti says, I train people to wrestle. You don't, because you don't know how to. Kyle Fletcher is talented. Fuck yeah, he is. Fletcher's awesome. But he is an egregious thigh slapper. That's the thing. The thigh slapping is so bad everywhere in wrestling. That's one of those things where if you just watch wrestling in 2025, and it's inexcusable, I truly think this, but you have to like sort of dismiss it from your mind because everybody's doing it. Everybody thigh slaps. I snapped earlier, but he is an egregious thigh slapper. Selling in context needs work. Yeah, because nobody's selling in AEW. I bet he could go and have a paced top guy speed match and he would do just fine. Fletcher, I honestly think he has that ability. He just knows what TK likes. So he's going to do that. And I mean, that's fine. I just hope he doesn't end up like Ospreay getting neck surgeries and herniated discs and all of this shit. And then Glenn Gilberti says he puts his opponent at risk of injury. Adam Cole, he can improve. Yes. And that is a botch where I don't care what anyone says. And again, it's just like with the GCW Sabu thing. Fletcher isn't like responsible for ending Adam Cole's career and concussing him on that apron power bomb that he botched or whatever. Like, Adam Cole's a grown up. This is what's so crazy too. And I said this about Ridge Holland with the Big E as well, with the Big E situation as well. These guys know what they're doing. Every time we watch a match, we as fans need to accept, like, okay, these guys are going to get CTE and one of them could get dropped on their neck and die right here in front of everyone, like with a scoop slam, you know, let alone fucking some of the moves these people are doing. We all accept that. It's a crazy part of pro wrestling. It's sort of the excitement of pro wrestling in a weird way. This could devolve into a shoot. This could end up with a tragedy happening. It's live TV. You never know. These guys, we can't sit there and be like, Ridge Holland's responsible unless he has like a track record of just hurting people left, right, and center. But yes, Fletcher did fuck Adam Cole up on that apron bomb. That was fucked up. But Fletcher you can look like he's obviously a good enough wrestler where like it was just, you do it a million times, you're bound to fucking, you drive a car a million times, you know, you're bound to see or get in an accident. You know, it's just the fucking unwritten rule of the road. George Carlin, rest in peace. Unwritten book of the road. So yeah, Glenn Gilberti saying he can improve. And this is the thing though, Disco, you didn't really make an argument. So are you insinuating that Logan Paul doesn't need to improve? Which again, I would listen to that argument as well. I'm open-minded to that because I think everybody can improve, but he's already so good and he just continues to get better. And like, I don't see Logan Paul doing, even when he does crazy high-risk shit, nothing's that unsafe. Like, he doesn't even have one instance of that I can think of Like LA Knight has more instances of like, oh my God, you're gonna hurt that guy. You know, when he's slipping, when he throws Sheamus off the top rope onto the fucking steps because he slips on his shit. Like Logan Paul doesn't have that, man. He's pretty buttery smooth for where he's at. And so yeah, it's an interesting topic of discussion for sure, the Logan Paul one. So Dave, though, he keeps arguing with people. He argues with, well, he doesn't argue with Niccolo Piccolo. We won't respond to him, but this guy here, this James Gilheany, is who he's arguing with. So shout out at JJ Gilheany, who looks like a high school football player. So he puts out a tweet and says, hey, Dave, Tony Khan told Ariel Helwani he has no idea what the max numbers are. So what exactly have you been basing your comments on to give you a view about the max numbers this year? And then Matt Keane goes, bro, he's written books worth of words about it. Bro, why are you fucking white knighting Dave? He didn't ask you, He tagged Dave, right? And then you going, he's written books about it. Doesn't matter, Matt Kuhn, because not everybody reads that shit reg, if you can't tell by the 50% off fire sales they do every month. And he's on Twitter all day, spurging out, getting into random arguments with random sickos and random threads, vanity searching himself, getting fucking mad at people, quote tweeting them, arguing all day. This guy's not allowed to ask a question without you. He's written books about it. Well, then what volume do I start at, asshole? So Dave Meltzer goes, please cite the issue in the comment. I'm relatively certain you never actually read my analysis because I've very clearly covered it in far more depth than you can here. Dave, how about you don't be a dickweed and you fucking link him to the thing? Link him to the article. Get one of your little butt dogs to fucking pull a link, dude, and send him in the article. Link him to the newsletter. Say, here, and here's the 50% off. Why condescend? Convert this guy into a fucking listener or reader if you're spitting. But you're not. And you know you're not. So James goes, hey, Dave, you know what happens when you assume things? What depth can you add? And that's the thing, Dave. All of your shit. He's written books on it. He's written books on him assuming shit and being selective with his information and not peer reviewing or fact checking any of it. So who gives a fuck? It's an opinion shit reg. This guy's asking his opinion. Dave assumed a lot. That was wrong. He's done it in the past. He's assumed people were dead when they weren't. Literally. So let's not stand up for Dave. Like, holy fuck, man. He's, you know, this guy's just anyways. James goes, hey, Dave, you know what happens, etc. He goes, can you add the figure the CEO of the company doesn't even know? Please educate. And then Meltzer goes, just look at the back issues with the ones this year. Which ones, Dave? I've written 8 million words. Then how does anyone know where to start? Create a reference. Is there an index? Create a site with every observer ever and create an index of where you can. There's some free game. I don't know if that's a thing, but link someone. Tell them where. Explain it. Say, well, on this day I said this and whatever. I chronicle all this stuff. Instead, he just condescends. So he goes, polls numbers that have been reported on the subject, other sports figures for comparison, WWE numbers when a show is on TV and streaming that we have. James goes, I don't know. I'm no qualified journalist, but I'd probably have done what Ariel did and just asked TK what the numbers are. Probably would have saved you a lot of time. You said probably a lot there. Probably shouldn't say probably as much. And then Dave goes, you heard his answer. By the way, it's a subjective I've discussed with him. Oh, it's a subject. I'm dyslexic. I've discussed with him and others in AEW and WWE and cable/streaming literally hundreds of times. It comes up within the industry daily. So Dave, so you've talked to him about it and talked to people there. And what is the answer? They all don't know. So I have talked to them. Okay, so the answer is they don't know. Which is what, in fairness, Dave did say that. Like, Tony doesn't know. And then Tony copped to that and said that he fucking doesn't know. Egregious, man. Egregious. So James goes, I'm sure it does, and the fact the number is not shared with the CEO is telling, particularly with WB for sale. One would think it would be something they'd like to promote. That's true. I think he's arguing with a kid. I'm sorry if I'm calling this guy a kid, but Dave goes, that is consistent throughout streaming. We've written about this so many times. Explain the reasons as well. Tony Khan. And so, but not consistent with their closest rival, which willingly reveals the number. Just for clarity, here's an example of a time where you have speculated about a number that doesn't exist. Happy to share more. So in a Wrestling Observer Radio discussion, Meltzer provided estimates on the max viewership for AEW. Sources indicated more people are watching overall when including streaming. He speculated a combined linear plus max total of around 750 to 800,000. That's the thing, Dave. Yeah, you're full of shit. Dave has fully speculated that they've beaten Raw and shit like that. And so Nicolo Piccolo just says, Dave is back at it. No one gets the numbers. Brother, you've been proving that for a year straight, just not in the way you think. And Dave says that is consistent throughout streaming, but he's wrong. Like, people do get the numbers. They just, when it comes to Tony the Kid Khan, these people. So all this is revealed to me. With Tony confirming he doesn't know the numbers, and then Dave just still sticking to this lie. All it's revealed to me is that the people in WBD are just running amok on Steamboat Tone. And they know he's in over his head. And he's like, no, Dad, I want to do this myself. Ha-ha. And then fucking, they're just like, they're just marking him in like everybody else does. That has to be what's going on. The best guy's Tony Khan. And I've always had the theory that I think WBD, the reason they don't quit the pay-per-view model either is because I think they just take off the top of everything from AEW. So they own 5%, and whatever money AEW brings in from like a pay-per-view, they get, I'm just making shit up here, but like 15% or something, right? 10% right off the top. And like, yeah, we'll keep you on the air. We'll advertise on there. You know what I'm saying? Like that sort of thing. And that's why Tony's like, the relationship we have with them so great. And, I who knows if they get a cut of the houses, but I wouldn't be shocked either if WBD is part of their ownership. Is like, yeah, we take just a little off the top of everything and then we're cool, because we're making money from you this way. And so we'll give you 185 million. We can sell ads. And then if we just take a little off the top, we're going to make a little bit of money off this thing on their end, but not AEW. Like AEW's not making money, right? Do you guys understand that? That's been my theory, just because no one's ever explained that to me other than myself. That's just me like guessing based on just puzzle piecing things together over the years, and like how else would this deal make sense for Warner Bros? So I'm a dumb fuck though. Maybe someone would come and be like, maybe Nicolo Piccolo would be like, that doesn't even make sense, bro. Shut up. I don't know, right? Lex, do you have any insight on this? You and the Lex
I don't
Express?
know.
Me neither, buddy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave Meltzer. Dama moment of the week. We burnt him. We roasted him. We cooked him. He got burnt to a crisp. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button. Thank you for tuning in. About 2 hours.